So welcome to Ananta Kranti, to A Traveling Lighter. Um, I read something recently that I thought would be useful to start with. I don't know if you ever read Dostoevsky's letter to his brother.
Whose letter?
Dostoevsky, he's a famous Russian author. He wrote Crime and Punishment, and
Never heard of it.
no, well,
Okay.
so in 1850, or 1849, I think, he was imprisoned for disseminating and reading anti-Tsarist um, uh, writing,
Uh-huh.
and he and all his colleagues were sentenced to death.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were taken out. There were six to be executed on this day, and they went out in groups of three. He was in the second group. He was tied to the post, and just before he was to be shot, a letter came from the Tsar releasing them from that execution. He was still in jail for 4 years.
This is a true story, is it?
This is true, and he went on to become the one of the best authors ever. But
Amazing.
but in this letter, when I read it, I just thought about you actually, because
Oh,
he says life is everywhere, life in ourselves, not in what is outside. This is just a small clips. There remains in me my heart and the same flesh and blood which can also love and suffer and desire and remember. And this, after all, is life. Life is a gift. Life is happiness. Happiness. Each minute might have been an eternity of happiness. And this is just like he wrote that the same day that he thought he was going to be executed.
wow.
Yeah.
I can understand him writing something like that before being executed. I mean, what else to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
But
know,
but I know a little bit about that you were, in Japan in prison. I don't know if you want to go back there, but it's part of the story, isn't it?
only if it's relevant. I mean, I've told the story so many times that if it's relevant, I have no problem, no issues going anywhere.
Yeah. But do you resonate with that? I mean, you weren't up for execution, but was you were in a certain context that would have.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything became profound.
Mm,
I mean, at the same time of ego death happening,
mm,
which wasn't just one moment. It isn't just one moment. Ego death is not just one moment. It's an ongoing breaking down of everything that we've taken ourselves to be, right? Any kind of identification. So, as that was all breaking down, the profundity of eternal truth was coming in, like, you know filling up the space. So it was all there at the same time, and still is. Mm. Yeah.
mm, mm. So you were just a different person coming out than when you went in.
Oh yeah, the one who went in didn't come out.
Yeah.
No, that was the end of that. But I wanted that. There was a deep calling in me, somewhere a deep calling in me, screaming for silence, screaming. Like, if I can think of a sentence that really fits, is stop the world, I want to get off. It was that kind of feeling that I was in. I was living a wild time and having a great time living it, but I was also like, oh no, like, I want to stop this. I had like one one half pulling into a more spiritual life. I'd found Osho, I'd changed my name already. I was 100% committed to a spiritual life. So I had this one, like, wing flying already and wanting to go fully. And I had this old, patterned, conditioned wild child still having groups and groups of friends who were partying and taking drugs and having a great time. So, I was going in and out and not able to completely cut this
Mm,
and fly. So this was a struggle. And in that struggle, there was a deep calling, like, I just want this to end, because it was destroying me. I was regularly taking, I don't know, LSD, ecstasy, whatever it was, partying. And I didn't want it. I wanted to fly in the natural way that I'd discovered. And then a few little things happened that put me in a situation. It wasn't even intentional. It was a few little things that happened kind of accidentally and put me in a situation where the apartment I was in got raided. And I mean, to say the story really, quick, cut it short, is a friend of mine was, one friend really wanted a load of LSD. Another friend had a load of LSD. So I told this one about that one. And all of a sudden, she arrived in Tokyo with it and wanted to give it to this one, and this one didn't want it anymore. So now this one's in my apartment
Mm.
and had to leave the country. So now it was in my apartment and I got raided.
Mm.
So, suddenly the moment that it happened, when the handcuffs went on, it was really like the whole body was shaking and knowing that this is it.
Mm.
And at the same time, there was a knowing that this is it. It's over. Like, my life as I know it is over. And yeah, from there, the journey began.
Mm. Yeah, so it's interesting you talk about these two like a tug of war, but I think it doesn't have to be partying and LSD. It's like, I mean, I love a coffee in the morning, and I
That's
stopped
my
for
only addiction now. And
It's-
I go in and out of it for months,
yeah.
you know? Yeah, go ahead.
But I stopped for a while and I just realized, my God, that's such a strong filter as well,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's such a strong thing. And as soon as you kind of smell it again
Yeah,
and go, I'll just have one little espresso, the next day and the next day and the next day, it's in your head.
yeah,
And it's having that ability to have power over the dialogue.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's this beautiful moment in the course, which is called "What Do You Really Want?" and the people are in pairs, and one person asks three questions, and they repeat it. They say, "What do you really want? What will you do to get what you really want?
Right.
When you get what you want, what will you be?" And they keep asking it. Catherine
Beautiful.
probably
Is it
knows
like
this
a
question.
koan?
Yeah, and they have to, when they're answering, they just have to just let the answer come from a deeper and deeper place.
Yeah.
And most people end up saying, I just want to be myself. And then you
Wow.
and then you kind of going, so what do you really want? I want to be myself. Well, you're there.
Wow.
You're there. It's kind of like obvious. And it's like this peeling off, because you've mentioned this as well. It's like peeling an onion. It's like this
Yeah.
rend and undoing of
Yeah.
the person who was always wanting something. We just constantly want craving. I mean, craving is too strong a word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's just wanting something that's different to just this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's beautiful. You have koans happening.
Yeah.
Remember before I had this experience in Japan,
Mm.
um, where I was solitary confined for 3 years. Before that, I was in Pune and we did these koans
Mm.
on the question, who am I? And you'd go for 5 days and nights, constant
Mm.
with this question, you know.
Mm.
Oh, it was wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, what it's awful to say, but it's like being forced to be in a cave if you're in solitary confinement for 3 months.
Well, I was
Yes.
also forced to labor. So I
Mm.
was taken to a factory daily to work.
Mm.
So it wasn't just being in my own It was taken every day to work with 50 others in a factory.
Mm. So you've mentioned how you're often moving around.
Yeah.
Is that a pattern that is like a resistance to being stuck in that one place, you
Ah,
think?
it's really because I left England when I was 19
Mm.
and lived all over the world. And every time I came back to England, I'd get there and then the whole kind of like conditioning of the society.
Mm.
Right, you're going to get a flat, get a job, that whole. As soon as I kind of was faced with going in that box, I'd go, no, I'm not doing this, and leave again.
Mm.
And I kept doing that. I was 27 years in Asia,
Mm.
and I kept doing it and doing it. And like 10 years ago, I was brought back to England. Well, I came back to help my father. He had dementia. And I came for 3 weeks and I stayed 6 years. But I was still in a very temporary situation, just renting a room in someone's place while I do this. And that all came to an end 3 years ago. And then suddenly I was like, right, I'm off. And since then, I'm just like going around in circles, going like, wait, I can't do this anymore. I'm not spring chicken. But the options of what's on offer to settle, say in England, it's like this resistance or fear and resistance to go in this box, like to just kind of settle for, but I mean, it's something that I'm facing at the moment.
Mm.
I still face things, and I'm facing that because sooner or later the body's just too old to keep driving around in this, you know?
Mm.
So it
Mm.
is really something that, people ask me sometimes, do you still face patterns? Do you still, and this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. It's really
Mm.
on the table.
Mm. And I hope you don't mind me mentioning what you said earlier, is you're friends with Lisa Cairns and Unmani who've been on this and you hang out with them, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall. What do you kind of talk about?
Well, we haven't hung out much in person. The three of
Mm.
us only met once in person
All right.
together. I meet Umani all the time. She's just up the road.
All right. Okay.
But the three of us meeting together only happened once in Brockwood.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, what do we talk about? Just don't know. I can't remember. Not spiritual stuff.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Everything, anything and everything is the true answer,
Mm.
like normal.
Yeah. But you have a very similar experience of the world, don't you? I'm not talking about the non-duality, but how you kind of make a living in a way.
Yeah.
So, you forming a union by any chance?
Not at the moment. And we have very different experience of the world, very different. Umani's a mother with a child. It's totally different thing. We have same, but different. We make our living this way, but the rest of it is very different.
Mm.
Mm.
And something else we touched upon before we started recording is how when this communication comes through a woman, and this is what you said, I didn't say it, but it seems much softer. It seems to actually accommodate the human experience more than when it comes through a man. There are exceptions, probably. Thinking of Jeff Foster or people like that, um, but is that's a bit stereotypical? But it's the case, isn't it? What do you say?
Yeah, I would say that it's it appears to be much more natural for a female to be in the body, to embody feelings, emotions, the world, like embodiment. Like the way I've expressed it over the years, because I've also, there's so many ways that I could go with this, really, so many ways, so many angles. On the really ground floor level of the conditioned man and woman, the woman at home doing the thing, whatever she's doing, and the guy wants to escape the drama, he goes down the pub, or he goes, like, the guy wants to escape the drama.
Mm.
The woman's making, yeah. When that goes up levels, he still wants to go out the door. So he goes to the absolute.
I get it. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I always want to just, if I'm arguing with my partner, I just want to go and do something else.
Right, absolutely true. He wants to return to nothing, to nothing.
Mm.
He just wants to he wants to reduce everything back to nothing,
Yeah.
right? Which is nothing wrong with that at all. And she wants everything. She wants to. She's like. And have you ever listened to the David Dada stuff? He did great stuff on the whole masculine, feminine dance of the principles of consciousness,
Mm.
of emptiness and fullness,
No.
um, which we all are. Uh, we are both. We are the principles of consciousness. We all are the masculine aspect being the depth, the formlessness, that which has no form. Awareness itself does not have any form. We know we are aware, but we can't touch it. We can't touch awareness, but we know what we're talking about when we speak of awareness, but we can't touch it or put it in a box somewhere. It's free and it's without form. And then when out of no thing, creation, out of the arising of energy, turns into Shakti and takes the form of creation, that's the feminine aspect. And the dance of absolute stillness, the depth of emptiness, aware presence, and energy that's constantly in movement, the dance of the stillness and movement is one, is one. There's no separation in that. And we are that. We are both masculine and feminine, even our bodies are different. So I guess I would see it as the mostly, not all, but mostly of the masculine body are more filled up with the masculine um, inclination to nothingness, to formlessness, and not really at home in the body, in the feelings, in the emotions, in the everythingness. So when there's not an integration of awareness in experience, when that's not happening as one movement, then it seems to be a transcended experience of watching the body, watching the feelings, watching the experience over here somewhere. Because there's no entering of her, and therefore there's no true lovemaking of existence happening through the form into creation. So, that's what I call like integration and embodiment, where masculine and feminine are like right now in this moment, the penetration of awareness into these words, into the message, into experience is where the meeting is happening in life. Yeah.
Mm.
So when you get these teachings of like these, and it's changing now. I know that a lot of male teachers are changing and starting to understand, through being called down to earth quite often,
Mm,
that what about here in the body? What about she?
mm.
What about, there's so much I could speak
Yeah.
of this. Yeah.
If it was kind of like a table of non-duality teaching, one of the other kind of differences that I pick up is that there are some that say there's nothing to do. There's, absolutely no effort necessary or is useful or is relevant. It's already here. But then there are others who would say, land on the side that, well, there is some effort needed to quieten the mind and to recognize, the habitual patterns, what we've been talking about. And I think a lot of men are on the side of there's absolutely nothing to do. It's hopeless. And the women are kind of giving a little bit of hope to the human. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, really and truly, it's a message that can't be spoken in words. It can't be contained in words. So whenever we try to put it in words, it's always it does not and should not ever make sense because it cannot be spoken in words. So the words are the vehicle to blow the mind. Although the words are like a vehicle that serve to take you into the recognition that happens beyond the words, right? So if we use the words in a paradoxical way, like there's absolutely nothing to do, but you need to be absolutely committed. Both are true, and it collapses the mind of hanging on to, oh, it's like this, or oh, it's like that, and then seeing what is being said beyond the concept. Because it can't be contained in. So anything we try to hold on to in words and fix it is it's just a trap. It cannot be fixed.
Mm.
Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
And where did it make sense? And that's my point.
Yeah. Well, the word that came up to me, if I'm honest, is gaslighting. It's kind of like, yeah, there's nothing to do, but you have to do. You know what I mean? It's kind of It's like the koan again, isn't it? Coming back to the koan, you're giving something.
Yes, yes, it blows the mind
Yeah,
of being able to, because something that I notice a lot is this pendulum. The seeker, the mind, wants to have something to hang on to.
yeah,
It wants to grasp something and it wants to hang on to, okay, it's like this. Now I know it's like this. And if it goes all the way this way to there's nobody here and nothing to do and nothing you can do, you just got to wait for grace to happen. And
mm,
well, that's a load of rubbish because you absolutely can prepare the ground and wait because your behaviors and everything do have something to do, and then it swing all the way to this way where it's like you've got to work hard, you've got to do this and meditate so many hours a day and and it goes all the way to the other end. And it's being able to see that all between this pendulum, the whole thing is all included in what's already the case.
yeah,
Of course, there's nothing to do because it's already the case.
yeah,
Yet to collapse the veil that stands in the way of clear recognition, yeah, it matters. And especially after the recognition, it absolutely matters how you live your life. Right?
mm. And in that swing, I mean, I think it's the title of your first book, isn't it? It's the Dark Night of the Soul. Kind Is that inevitable?
It is what inevitable.
The dark night of the soul, the kind of.
Um, I mean, everybody's different.
Mm,
It's unique. The process of this realization and how it comes in
mm.
is so unique. There's no fixed like, and now you got to go through the dark. No, 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 no. And if you fix it like that, then you know, one of the things that I've seen in many is that oftentimes, and it happened for me too, actually, is that they're already right here experiencing what this is, yet they can't recognize it because too many spiritual concepts have
Mm,
said it should be like this or it should be like that.
mm,
And so they're waiting for it to be like that or like that and
mm.
overlooking,
Yeah, yeah,
which is what I think you started out with.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something I brought up with Peter Zubian at Jubin last week.
Who?
It's Peter Jubin, Consciousness is All.
Oh, I never heard
Read the
of
book. It's a great book. Consciousness is All.
oh,
It's just so blindingly obvious, you know, that it's so obvious.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's so obvious, but conditioning is strong.
mm, yeah. And you often refer to waking up from the dream. And something I didn't ask Peter, but maybe I can ask you is okay, so we go to sleep at night and we have dreams sometimes, and then we wake up. But as Paul Hederman says, with there's for this dream, there's no morning, you know. Um, but what's it like? Because how could because when I'm asleep, there's no awareness.
How
But
do
there,
you?
yeah, but there is. But it's not me. So
Yeah,
it's the same awareness, but I'm not aware of it when I'm sleeping.
right. Is there a question in that?
Is it different for you when you're sleeping?
No, I just sleep.
Yeah, but awareness continues.
It's not my business. But of course, I mean, if if there was like a if you were asked in the morning, how did you sleep last night? You'll be able to say, oh, I was gone, absolutely gone,
Mm,
until a moment I heard a car in the distance. You'll be able to give the report, even to say that you were absolutely gone the whole night. You don't know anything about it. You can say that much. You're aware that you're gone. It's different states of consciousness, but you're still, I mean, you're not aware of being someone. That's gone. And what a relief.
mm,
And when you wake up in the morning, often you have to like, okay, so where am I? Oh yeah, I'll go off. Okay, what's going, oh yeah, I've got to move out next week. Those, without those thoughts,
mm. So what's it like walking among the sleepwalkers day to day? Um,
I mean, it's been a long while for me that this integration has been 30 years. So in the beginning, there are extreme differences to be in the world or not of it. There are all these extreme differences. And at a certain point, it all comes back to as it always was, same, but different. Because the difference is that you know that you're walking in a dream. You know that it is and it is not,
Mm.
you know? And you come fully, once you're free, you can come fully back into it. Fully, you know. In the beginning, it's much like a big difference, like just seeing through it all the time. Oh, look at this joke. Like, you know, you're constantly reminded of what a joke it is that all these people are taking themselves to be separate worlds, and you know that's quite extreme in the beginning, but after many years it's just kind of blend in, and it is and it is not. There's no, what I can say is there's just no attachment. There's no attachment to situations, to people, to things, to dreams, to life.
Mm. Is there a risk in that? I'm just thinking of, I used to be a rock climber, or just as a hobby,
Wow.
and a lot of rock climbers at the top end, the people who free, solo, don't climb without ropes and all that kind of thing. They don't die on the rock; they die driving to and from the climb because they lose what's called residual fear, I think it's called. So they will just drive with no fear,
Right.
and and they'll just do stupid things which lead to their getting killed. So
Wow.
is there when there's no attachment, when you, of course, conditioning has come about through the fact that we've, as humans, evolved in a certain environment and to adapt.
Yeah,
So that conditioning has probably saved our lives in certain
that's still
circumstances.
there.
It's still
That's
there.
still there. In a sense, like for example, like I'm going to start driving to the UK soon.
Hmm.
Next week I'll start driving to the UK, and there's that voice is like, okay, start looking for places to stay on the way, and is always looking for the best situation that will give the most support this body to be in the right uh, taking care of the right things, and so this is the integration,
Hmm.
because it's always taking care of the right things, like how to make the most of and get the best out of taking care of this form in the best way. Like, no, I'm not going to put it in that situation. No, it's not going to, no, like always looking for. So it's that's still there, you know. I wouldn't say it's driven by fear, but fear can play as an aspect that looks out for dangers, you know, like I make sure the door's locked at night. These things. It's all
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
like, oh, there's nobody here, I'm not attached, leave all the doors open. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's actually the function of the emotions, isn't it? What we say in mindfulness is returning emotions to their signal function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those things that are in the body, because the body remembers.
Mm.
The body is memory, it's a memory body. So it remembers the whole, I've got, say, like from being very young, growing up in London and having a very acute sensitivity to walking at night. What is the distance between me and that guy over there?
Mm.
Like, where's my exit? Like having a very acute awareness of looking out for. And
Mm.
that's still very much there. I'm aware of the intentions of others, and it's very, I would say, sharpened.
Yeah. Mm. Because there's less filtering.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just like you could smell the intentions.
Wow. Mm.
And that's very much in my work anyway. And I would say that that was also very much heightened and further developed in prison.
Mm.
because we were in silence, and there was a lot going on in that silence. And, becoming very, very acutely aware of all the movements in silence has served to how it works in retreats, in working with people, like what's going on over there, what's picking up the thoughts over there, there. So, like, and that extends into the environment, and not only the environment in the physical form, but the environment in the formless, like knowing the intentions and the conversations that are happening in the field, you know.
Mm. Catherine, I've been hogging. Ananta, do you want to ask a question?
Not sure I have questions. I'm still reflecting really. A lot of my one of my core reflections is one from near the beginning, really. That moment with the handcuffs is really speaking to the image where you think this is it and this is it. I kind of wish that lots of people in their hardest, like, oh my goodness, times, this is it, could hear you say that and see you say that and be like, this is it, but this is it. This is an opportunity, at least, for this to be it, to make those change. So I found that very inspiring.
Wow, you got that. Beautiful. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people going through a lot at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, to say yeah.
Yes. Yes, I knew it was the end, and I also knew it was the end,
Mm.
and having absolutely no idea. So you're birthed into the unknown, which we all are anyway. You're in the unknown, like not knowing what's going to happen from here. There's going to be a trial. Is there going to be like you're not even going that far, but you know that you're in the unknown, and everything just expanded so wide open, while at the same time total fear and panic, and at the very same time knowing that this is for me, this is happening for me, it has to be, there's no other way.
Where do you feel that thought came from? That because a lot of people don't have that thought, and
It came from knowing. It wasn't even a thought in my thinking mind. It came from a deeper knowing, like a knowing. And in my thinking mind, I would not have believed that. In my thinking mind, it was scrambling for, clutching for answers, and how can I get out of this, like resisting the whole thing. And in the same moment was just like this, looking from a place of just seeing it all and going, this is it, this is for you, this is what you've been calling for, this is it. So it's like looking from different a different perspective. And that was happening. I was on trial for 5 months, and that was happening constant. And I actually wrote my diary. I actually published it. What was that process? The process I was in for those 5 months. I wrote it in a diary, and I made that available. And it is really like the contents. It's hard to read. When I read it, it just, well, for me it was hard to read, because it just, the whole memory body just went right back into that. But it is the contents of every mind that is going through that process of ego death. I was struggling and screaming, and at the same time pure witnessing.
So this is one of the koans. The paradoxes for me at the moment is it comes up. It's like, you chose this, but it wasn't there was no choice.
It was
There's
a
two
choiceless
things.
choice.
Yeah,
A choiceless choice. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I chose that on some level. And what I can say is it was the end of me as I knew myself. And it was the beginning of, when I got out of there, I didn't know who I was. There was no one. I hadn't related. I haven't had a conversation for 3 years.
Wow.
So when you stop having a conversation, what's left? Because all the roles that in conversations, like you have a role right now, we have a role to play. You have a role to play in your partnership, if you're a father, a mother, a child, a sister, a brother. These are all roles. And when none of them are there, what is here?
Yeah, they do tend to keep you there. And this is one of the things I spoke with Peter about is one of the biggest, strongest conditioning is theory of mind. That it's a psychological term that you have a mind and I have a mind and you probably experience things the same as me. But in that conditioning, there's the separation that we have separate minds.
Yeah.
And
A belief,
everybody,
a
yes.
belief system.
Yeah, and everybody around us has separate minds and expectations of us, and we have to, play the part.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing to break. I mean, for me, this is so corny, but I was in Nazareth in Israel, in the mountains of Nazareth, and
Wow.
I was offered to leave my material body, or to just that was offered. But the next thought in was, well, I have to be home for Christmas. And it was kind of like, yeah, my expectations of my family, my parents, is what pulled me back from the abyss, if you like.
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, on another level, it's your trajectory.
Yes.
It's what you came here for, was
Yeah.
to live this life and to find death in life.
Yeah.
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 How old were you then?
20,
Wow.
21.
Wow.
I had lots of experience, lots of openings when I was young. And experimental theatre became the path of integration for me.
Beautiful.
Mm.
And in that you can reach so many people at different levels. It's very beautiful.
I guess theatre has that this is what it is and it's not, because people know it's acting, but at the same time it's in that moment it's real. So I suppose they've got that. That's something else they got, it is and it isn't, and to be able to break free of being held with one idea that this is what it is can be so constricting. So to whichever way, so almost thinking of an exercise to when we feel ourselves getting like that, to just take a moment to just go the other way for a bit and be okay with that.
Yeah.
Thinking
But also about that, it's like, like you said, you're stepping into a role and you know that you're not that role, right? Well, that's exactly the same in truth. In life. You're stepping into the role of Catherine, like even right now on this call, you're stepping into the role of Catherine, who is I can't remember that word. You know that word.
Awareness, yeah.
Yeah, right. Awenu? Right. You're stepping into that role, and to know that you're introducing yourself like that, and to know at the very same moment that you're stepping into a role in the same way you do in theatre, and that you're not really that, but you're stepping into a role to present yourself in this moment on this call, but actually you're not that. And if we stepped into every role, like that. That's what it is to live awake. You know, every role we play, every role I play the role of spiritual teacher. I got that label. I didn't claim it. I didn't choose. I didn't give myself that label. That's what. Yeah. So, but I'm not that either. But I play the role of that, and I play the role of sister, and I play the role of friend. But actually, I am what you are. And there is no end or beginning to what I am and what you are. And we can easily come to see that directly.
And I suppose if we are infinite potential, if we are everything, then yeah, then we are it as well. We're not it, but we are it because it's part of our potential, I guess.
Exactly that. It is and it is not.
That's how I came upon this experimental theatre method called sensory labyrinth theatre. So the audience book a slot, like going to the dentist, and they go through a labyrinth just by themselves, and it's inhabited by what I call gatekeepers. And they're going through and they're going, well, I know this is theatre. I bought a ticket, and then, you know, what's the plot? You know, who's the main character? And they meet these people, and there isn't really a plot. But they start to realize, well, I'm the main character, and
Wow.
this is, I'm making the story as I walk the path. Why is this so familiar? And it's at that moment where they realize this, why is this so familiar? It's what I call proprioception. They just realize, oh my God, this is what it all is. And what happens next is so beautiful because people come out. This is not everybody, obviously, but you know, they come out and they can't speak for a long time, and there's this relief and this peace, and you know,
Well, I'm really feeling it. Do
yeah,
you mean like you have this theatre and people come along and buy a ticket and walk through this thing?
yeah, it's site specific. So you know, you set it up. I've done a few in Portugal, um, but you know, you're given a space. It could be anywhere, and you work with the people to create these installations. And this, you know, this course is based on what I was doing with those people to sensitize them
Wow.
to be compassionate about, you know, these people coming through with all these stories and all this thing. And and it's kind of, I've realized the part of the power is that everything they encounter is caring and compassionate, you know, so it's like this multiple, it's
It
accumulation of,
sounds amazing.
yeah, it's an accumulation of rituals of caring is what I call it now.
But do you do this like in all different places or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. I just, if somebody asked me to come, and I work with a group, and
I
we
think I
create.
might have heard of something like it. I have a friend that went to something like this in London. Do you do that in London?
No, never done it in London, but you know, there's big companies like Punch Drunk, and they do one-to-one. They do immersive theatre, but it's more about spectacle.
What is it called? Experiential theatre.
It's called immersive theatre generally. That's
Oh,
what.
right.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. It was, anyway, I'm talking too much about what I do, but you know, it's
That's great. I'm inspired. I'm amazed.
yeah, anybody could do it, but
But you got to have you have that creative idea. I would never have thought of anything like that.
yeah, well, it's nothing is new. You know, I pick things up from different people
Mm.
and put it into this form. But yeah, it's this recognition, this sudden recognition that this is all uh, my choice, but not my choice. And this is the where I'm at now. Is what is it
This
my
is what
choice?
I'm choosing. This is very powerful recognition. If we can recognize, I'm choosing this, it's powerful because then we can also see that we are the only one who can change it.
Mm.
And we can change it only when we can see that we're choosing it. Yeah?
Yeah.
You asked me about like if how I am with this pattern of constantly moving and not settling, and something about that pattern that I became aware of just recently in the last months is that there's something in this wiring, in this patterning that doesn't want to fully like commit to some kind of long-term situation where I'm going to be stuck somewhere. And it's like, or to be on someone, to sign a thing where I'm now under somebody's. And just today, like an hour before we're meeting, I have a friend living in Vietnam, and she's telling me, "Oh yes, this is that." I said, "Great, I'm coming in," and it's like this feeling of being able to just switch and change and jump into something absolutely different any moment. There's something in my that still wants that, you know. But it is a patterning, yeah. Because really, it doesn't matter where you are and what you're doing. Yeah? It'd be wonderful to have a home.
What's that line in the film in Heat? You know, Robert De Niro says, "Don't get attached to anything you can't leave in 30 seconds." Or something like that. But he was a criminal.
In the movie.
In the movie, yes.
Yeah, I feel like I've got to move, and then all of a sudden I want to be at home. So I feel lucky to have both at the moment. I don't know for how long, but yeah,
I would love to have both.
It's quite nice.
I would love to have a base. But it's like I disconnected from the system. So to come back into the system and what I do for a living, things in England have increased so much. I don't make that kind of money now to even afford all that's required to live in England. I don't make it, because I lived in Asia. I lived without a regular income. So I didn't think that the body was ever going to get older. I didn't even consider that. But it does. So, it's like to go back into England and start renting some place, and with all the things on top of that, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting living within this life and living ourselves and thinking of the masculine and feminine aspects. Because if you look at us under a camera, imagine you had like electron camera and all you could see is electrons. You'd look at somebody presenting as women, somebody presenting as men, and it was just like a bunch of electrons, really. Yeah. Through society, through whatever's happened, there are differences. How do you reconcile that it is and it is not at the same time? Same with the society, we're free and we're not free in that. And how do we reconcile that?
Well, we live the paradox of that. Yeah, that's what we get to live in our human journey, is the paradox. We are divinity itself, to give it a word or name. We are source itself. We are life itself, and yet we are living this little individual journey that has a beginning and an end, even though what we are has no beginning and no end. So it's paradoxical, and all is true and all is not. Mind blowing.
And that's all right, isn't it? Yeah, mind blowing. Yeah,
it's mind blowing.
The only thing for me is that I mentioned I was at Sai Baba's ashram around when you were in Pune, and something happened where I saw all my past lives like a flip book, just like that.
Wow.
And it was kind of like there were such petty concerns, that were so inflated in comparison to who we really are.
Yeah.
It was a joke. It was beyond,
Yeah.
And then yet to have to suddenly, after that, be reduced back into this petty concern, it's kind of like, it's both hilarious but a terrible tragedy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a joke.
Mm.
It's God's joke
Yeah.
with himself, with itself.
Yeah. I'm not sure I like his sense of humor. So, Ananta, I think I feel like I could just talk all day with you, and I'm sure Catherine feels the same.
Yeah,
But
it's been great. Thank you so much.
I don't want to take
Mm.
more of your time.
I don't know what the time is,
Yeah,
even.
yeah. But
It's it exists and it does not that time. It's about 10 past 5. Well, in our time, 10 past 6. You is it?
just
No,
it's
same.
quarter past
Oh,
five.
is it the same at the moment? Oh, Portugal's the same. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in the end of these things, I just ask contributors if they want to share something they're doing at the moment, or any opportunities to encounter you.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm about to drive to England,
Mhm.
and I'll be staying in Glastonbury for a couple of months, and I will have some events running there, both like open meetings where people can just come for a couple of hours, and weekend intensives. I think there'll be 2 weekends, like a Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday. And in these events, it is direct inquiry, recognition, integration, and yeah, I'm hoping that I can find a venue that allows dance to be included.
Mm.
Last year, that was difficult. It depends how booked up it is, but yeah, people can come and watch my YouTube channel if you want to have a taste of the style.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, I'll put a link in this one to that.
thank you.
Yeah, and I got a friend in Glastonbury who did a lot of the ghost dance stuff. The North American Indian stuff.
Ah,
I can put
ah,
you in touch with him. Might know some venues. So.
he lives there.
He lives in Glastonbury. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, great. Please, I've been looking today, but it's like there are so many venues,
Mm.
and to go through and like with the right things available,
Mm.
it's good when someone lives there and they know people and they know places.
Cool. Yeah, I'll put you in touch.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Appreciate it.
thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Well, I'm intrigued. I love what you're doing,
Thank you.
and I hope that our conversation has been of value in some way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's been lovely.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm glad we could do this.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you, and you, Catherine the Wenu.
Yeah, but it was also a name given to me, but I like it. It speaks to me. I love it.
You wear it well.
Oh, my heart. Thank you.